I outgrew you. I'm not the same person I was a year ago, and neither are you. Look, my goals and my vision are different now, and you only see the me who I was before. You only want her, and I'm sorry, I can't be her anymore. I have to let you go. These are words I wish I had known sooner. Words I didn't see the importance of until recently, when I started to outgrow a lot of things in my life. It wasn't even just people, it was clubs, activities, which no longer fit into the version of myself I wanted to become. Let's talk about how growing up and growing into yourself also means growing away from others. Most of us don't even talk about that fact. We see reinvention as this shiny process when we get new habits, new opportunities, and a new, better version of ourselves. But the truth is, sometimes the cost of becoming who you're meant to be is losing people who only fit who you were before. This episode is all about outgrowing others. How to recognize patterns, avoid the sunk cost fallacy, handle those who only see the old you, and most importantly, know when it's time to let go. We'll explore psychology, philosophy, and a couple of analogies that I hope resonate. My name is Alina, and I'm the host of Life Fulfilled. Let's get into it. Learning how to let go. I've seen this not only in my life, but in the lives of the people around me too. We repeat the same patterns over and over until we learn a lesson and decide to change our behavior. In my instance, I often let people walk all over me and didn't set any clear boundaries. It kept happening, new people, different situations, until one day I finally stood up for myself and watched my dynamics with every single person in my life change. You have to consciously make that decision. But why do we repeat these patterns anyways? Psychologists call it repetition compulsion. It's when our brains subconsciously recreate familiar dynamics, even if they hurt us, because the brain prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar uncertainty. That's why we sometimes stay friends with someone who drains us. It feels safe. It's what we're used to. It's what we know, even if we don't really like it. Philosophy echoes this too. Nietzsche talks about eternal recurrence, the idea that life repeats itself until we confront that cycle. And in many ways, that's what relationships are, cycles that force us to ask, what am I still not learning? I mentioned this in another episode, but I always say there's a lesson in everything. Look for the pattern, especially if you don't want it to repeat again, and ask yourself what you can do differently so it doesn't happen. For me, it was setting a boundary. For you, it could be the same, or you might have to change your behavior around a certain group of people or avoid those people altogether. The truth is, you're going to have to do some internal work to figure out why these patterns keep happening, because oftentimes the patterns that repeat in your external world are reflecting what's going on in your internal world. If you're into spirituality, you could say that the universe will keep putting familiar dynamics into your life just to see when you have actually learned your lesson and when you can grow. When you're telling the universe, hey, I'm ready for something different now. All of these mindsets reflect the same concept. Patterns in your life will keep repeating until you take the time to figure out who you are, why they're repeating, and take action differently. If the people in your life keep pulling you into the same old loops, self doubt, drama, exhaustion, then maybe they're not meant to walk with the version of you that breaks that cycle. What patterns are you still playing out with the people around you? Get a notebook and a pen right now, guys. What do you want to change? And what have you seen happening over and over that maybe you don't want to happen again? Now, one of the hardest things is letting go of someone you've known for a long time. You've been through a lot together, and you feel like you owe it to them to stick with them, even if they're not right for you. I've had friends who I've known for over 8 years and I've been close with over that time, and realized we just weren't compatible anymore. They were draining my energy. They were not aligning with the version of myself that I truly wanted to embody. So let's talk about sunk cost fallacy, because I have been a victim to this, as have probably many of you. But what is sunk cost fallacy? In economics, it's the mistake of continuing an investment just because you've already spent time, money, or effort on it, even if it's no longer worth it. When it comes to cognitive biases, the sunk cost fallacy tells you that if you've put time and effort into something, you should keep doing it. But that's not logical. The perspective you should have is assessing the situation in front of you, not looking at the effort and time you have allocated to different things in the past. Look at what you have now and where you want to be. So, if you've been in a relationship for over 2 years and you find yourself feeling stuck because you like it but you don't see it going anywhere, don't look at the 2 years. Look at where you want to be and if that other person aligns with that version of you. What you've already given is gone, and you have limited energy. You have 24 hours in a day. Stop spending your time, your effort, and your energy on people who aren't reciprocating the same back to you. If people are just depleting you and you continue giving to them because that was the standard, you end up losing. I once kept someone in my life out of sheer history, but the more we clashed, the more I realized that maybe we didn't belong together. It finally hit me. Years invested don't guarantee growth. Just because I spent so much time on something in the past doesn't mean it's going to be good in the future. It doesn't mean you've wasted your time. The memories you had could be great, they could be the best in your life, but now you can't make that same type of memory anymore. You have to let go. Psychologists would call this loss aversion. We perceive losses more heavily than we perceive wins. So losing $10 feels more significant and makes you more upset than gaining $10 would make you happy. We fear losing what we've already invested more than we desire something better. But you're not really losing, you're just redirecting. And you'll find other people and other things that will fill that gap, while you can hold on to those memories instead of tainting them. We're always changing. Let me use myself as an example. The first time I made a vision board, that one right there, it was covered in quotes and pictures like 5 a.m., 1600 SAT, straight A's. But the second vision board I made, which is right there, is more focused on mindset, personal growth, attracting the things I want, and allowing myself to be. I don't want the same achievements that I did in the past. I want a good mindset because I feel like my experience will be better that way. It's just a preference. But some people who are still thinking in that first mindset will no longer understand me and no longer see why I spend my time the way I do. One of the most subtle ways people hold us back is by refusing to see us and only seeing the old us. This issue could be the biggest with family or people you've known for a long, long time because they've grown up with another version of you and they can't handle who you're trying to become. You could be working on yourself, healing, building discipline, or chasing your goals, but to them, maybe you're still the shy one, or the screw up, or the person who once made mistakes. They keep handing you an old script. And maybe it's subconscious, but the way they treat you doesn't align with who you are. And in that way, it might be holding you back. Maybe you're afraid of losing those people who can't see you, or afraid of losing your past self. But that fear only holds you back from the life you've always wanted and the highest version of yourself that you're really close to embodying. This is what psychologists called identity foreclosure, when people only see who you were. Other people freeze you into the role they're comfortable with, the one that they've seen you with for however long you've known them. And if you keep playing along, you'll never step into the role that you're trying to write for yourself. Heraclitus once said, "No man steps in the same river twice, for it is not the same river, and he is not the same man." Yet some people treat you like you're frozen in time, but you're not. And while we all grow up, oftentimes we all grow apart. And one indicator of that is whether people can't imagine you as who you're trying to become, can't see you for your new goals, and can't understand your vision, because your vision is your greatest asset. And if you use that as a guide, it can be a filter to what to keep and what to cut from your life. After making my second vision board, I've decided to cut out the clutter and focus on what really brings me peace and clarity. This brings me to your vision. In one of my favorite books, The 50th Law by Robert Greene and 50 Cent, Greene wrote, "People follow those who know where they're going." Your vision, in the sense, can be your greatest asset. Not only can you use it to cut some things out of your life and add new things in, but your vision itself will attract people to you. People will be attracted to your confidence and attracted to the energy that you radiate. If you keep letting people reflect back only on your past self, you might never fully believe in your future self. And you need that belief in yourself to step forward and become who you want to. So, another reflection prompt for you. Who in your life only sees the old version of you? Do you want to communicate with them or get some distance? And are you shrinking yourself to fit their view? Don't let them hold you back. The people who are right for you, the people that belong in your life, will want you to be happy in the best version of yourself that you can be. So, I posted this question on my TikTok and Instagram pages. It was, when do you know when it's time to let go? One user, I'm putting their username here because I have no idea how I'm going to say that, replied with this: "I think it's when that thing stops serving you in whatever way it was supposed to, because of you changing or something about that thing changes. It's like a rusty bike versus a car. You're much more likely to use a bike as a kid, but that same bike will rust over time, and you can't use it in the same way a car serves you as an adult." I really liked this. I feel like it encompasses my point very well. As you grow up, you outgrow the people around you, and they are becoming different too. Your needs change. So you don't need a bike anymore because you want to get somewhere that's maybe 20 miles away. It would not be very efficient for you to bike there. Let's zoom out for a moment and look at this idea of outgrowing people through one of my favorite lenses: philosophy. Aristotle talked about three types of friendship: friendships of utility, friendships of pleasure, and friendships of virtue. Friendships of utility, as implied by the name, are based on usefulness. Think study partners, business connections, and people who play a role for a season. Maybe you're sitting in a class and you talk to someone because they're the only other person you know. Friendships of pleasure are about enjoyment, fun, shared hobbies, good vibes, but not necessarily depth. Think about people you can have a really fun hangout with, but you don't seem to know a lot about them. And then there are friendships of virtue, the rare kind, the deep kind, where both people are committed to helping each other grow into their best selves. Even if they themselves change in that process, they'll still try to be there for one another. Most people you meet are not in group three. They're not going to put in the effort to change themselves as you change. And that's completely okay. Many friendships start as pleasure or utility. And that's not bad, it's natural. But as you evolve, and those relationships don't evolve with you, they start to feel hollow. Outgrowing someone isn't cruelty, it's the natural movement from one category of friendship to another, or sometimes to none at all. Now, Buddhism adds another angle, even though it's not necessarily philosophy. The Buddha taught that suffering often comes from clinging and being attached. Maybe it's being attached to people, identities, or even moments that were never meant to last forever. Because everything in life is fluid and it moves fast. Like this. You can appreciate it, and I want you to be there in that moment to appreciate it. But you can't hold on to it. You can't expect it to last forever. If we accept impermanence, as the Buddha recommends, we understand that some relationships were always temporary teachers. They were never meant to last forever. They were meant to prepare us for the next chapter. There is a lesson in everything, and in every relationship, I want you to ask, what was the main lesson you learned? Take it with you going forward, and then you can create a new chapter of life as you embody a new philosophy or lesson. Another thing I want to touch on is Taoism. I already did an entire episode about this, but I had to mention it again because it is one of my favorite philosophies. Taoism is all about balance and flow. I even have a picture on my wall saying, follow the flow, because relationships were never meant to be hard. They were never meant to have that much resistance, and even if you've put a lot of time and effort and energy into it, you guys don't owe each other anything, because there are people that you can connect with that it'll feel really, really easy to connect with. It'll feel natural, and that's how it's supposed to feel. So I just threw a lot of information out there, but here's a guiding principle. Let go when someone no longer aligns with the version of yourself that you're striving to be. And if a friendship or something in your life is difficult or hard, know that there are other alternatives that are easier, that are simpler, and you don't have to put yourself through that pain, even if you've already put time and effort and energy into it. Your time and effort and energy are sacred, in fact, and you should only use it on things that matter to you and that align with your vision. So, just to recap, attachment theory tells us that people can serve as anchors, but also that they can become chains. If someone consistently pulls you back into fear, stagnation, or drama, they're chaining you to the ground. Even if they're not doing any of those things, they may be chaining you back into the person they perceive you to be, someone that you aren't anymore. Buddhist philosophy reminds us that suffering comes from clinging on to something, and freedom comes from release. And Aristotle believed that friendships should be based on virtue, helping each other become the best version of ourselves, not staying too attached or getting offended when people move on or change their habits. If someone can't support your growth, or if you can't support someone else's, that friendship is no longer virtuous. Letting go does not mean hate. It doesn't mean failure. It means gratitude for the role someone played in your life and the courage to step into your becoming. Take a look at your vision board. Or if you don't have one, make one. Who belongs to this future version of your life? And who only belonged in the old one? Because sometimes the bravest words you can speak are, I outgrew you. Until next time, keep living a life fulfilled.